Welcome back to Green is Good, and we're so excited to have on the line with us Randy Bishop. He's the co-founder and CEO of Verengo Solar. Welcome to Green is Good, Randy.
Hey, how are you doing, John?
I am awesome. I know you're calling. We're talking today. I'm in New York. You're in beautiful, sunny LA. But, we were talking a little bit off the air about solar and how good it is to be in the solar industry right now. We're so excited for you to come and share your story. But before we get to the Verengo Solar story, I want to hear the Randy Bishop story. How did you become the co-founder and CEO of Verengo? What was your journey leading up to this and why?
Sure. So, I'm from LA,
Yeah.
third generation. My partner is from here as well. We went to high school together, actually. We grew up here, local boys, and we had always thought it would be fun to do something together. We kind of took different career paths. I went into business. I worked in Japan for a little bit. I worked in business, got an MBA. He was a lawyer. And we both worked at companies that we liked a lot. I worked at Intuit and really learned a lot about how to build a great company and set the right culture. And we both worked at places that were also not so great. And, we talked about how it would be amazing if we could create a place that was our own, where we could create the culture and that we were doing stuff that was great for customers. And the timing was just right a couple of years ago, and we looked out, and people that we had worked with before said they would back us if we found a good company to run. And we really were excited about the solar space. It was really just starting to take off in California, and it was an amazing opportunity to, as we say, do good and do well, do a business that really helps the world and helps customers, and also a business that could be successful. And so
that's awesome.
We set out and partnered up, and now here we are, the largest residential specialist in the country right now.
And we're so thankful for you coming on the show today, because we love at this show on Green is Good to have wonderful people who are leaders with great brands doing great things. And that is what you're doing at Verengo Solar. I'm on your website now. It's a gorgeous website. For our listeners out there that want to join along while we talk with Randy, it's www.verengosolar.com, and his phone number to interact with the company and to get solar on your house is 1-800-856-6900. Randy, so, you started the company, it's 2008, 2009. Now we're in 2013. The journey's gone on. It's a good time to be. The sustainability movement is really moving here, and it's picking up velocity in the United States, thankfully. How many homes in America are eligible for solar? Like, what's your universe as a business guy, and you think about the dream, like, of Verengo, and how much penetration can you get? How big is the universe for you here in this great country?
Gee, John, that's a great question, a tough one to answer, because what's going on in our industry is the costs of solar keep coming down all the time.
Yeah.
The costs of financing are coming down. The costs of materials are coming down. And the costs of electricity are going up everywhere. So utilities keep raising their rates, which means as electricity goes up and solar gets cheaper, more and more houses come online every month, basically. So, there's already millions in California and millions in New York that are eligible and that have programs, and there's more and more programs coming on all the time. So we just see this incredible market. I mean, we grew 100% a year for a couple years in a row. Last year, the whole industry grew 70%.
Wow.
And it's just continuing with that growth. It's incredibly exciting, and it's creating a ton of jobs. There's over 100,000 solar jobs in America now.
So I'm a homeowner in California. And I'm thinking about cost, but I'm also thinking about the environment. I'm thinking about my kids' future, but I want to do the right thing, and I want to hire Verengo to put solar on my house. Just the back of the envelope, what's the proposition, Randy? Is it what's the return on investment if I write your company a check, or do I get subsidies, or how does this even work? Because I'm 50 years old, and I'm sort of even ignorant to this process myself.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Most people, have heard a little bit about it, but just don't really understand how it works. So
walk us through it.
Yeah, so there's two main ways that people get solar. One is they just buy it outright themselves.
Yep.
And if you do that, you're typically looking at an after-tax savings of 10 to 15% a year
for
your investment.
Okay.
So your investment depends on how much electricity you use. It could be 10,000, it could be 20,000. Think of it like buying a bond.
Right.
And your payments are the electricity that you save that you pay with after-tax dollars. So most people, when they find out, if they've got the money, which most people don't, right?
Right.
In today's world.
Yeah.
But if they do, and they see, hey, I could put this in the stock market, or I could buy a bond that's getting 2-3%,
Right.
or I could save, get a after-tax return of 10 or 15% a year, they get pretty excited about that. But the reality is most people don't have that money to get started.
Right.
And so there's another financing development that's really helped the market explode. And that's where someone else owns the panels, and they just sell the electricity that the panels produce to the homeowner.
Got it.
So the homeowner doesn't pay anything out of pocket. But what they get is they get a little bit of a cheaper rate on electricity than they're paying right now from their utility.
Okay.
And more importantly, they also get predictability and control over their utility bill. Right now, if you don't have solar, you have no idea what your utility bill is going to be next year. It could go go down a little bit. That doesn't really happen.
Right.
But more than likely, it will go up. And what we like to talk to our customers about is, it's like you have an adjustable rate mortgage for your electricity, and you have no control over how that's going to go up every year.
Right.
And so we have a lot of customers on fixed income, and they can control what their mortgage payments are, and they can control all kinds of expenses in their home,
Right.
but they can't control their electricity rate. And what we do is we say, hey, we're going to take that electricity, we're going to sell it to you at a fixed rate, less than what you're paying today, and we're going to also allow you to know what that's going to be for the next year, the year after, the next 20 years. You have your rate guaranteed for the next 20 years.
Wow.
And now that homeowner has control and predictability. And for all our customers, but especially people that are on a fixed income, that's an incredibly powerful alternative that they just haven't had in the past.
And what's the net though of how much money do they have to put down on the leasing basis to get Verengo Solar?
Yeah, so that's the great thing. Every home is different, but almost all the homes that we do basically qualify for zero down. So the customer is nothing out of pocket, and they start saving the first month that the solar's on the roof. So we talk all the time about this being a no-brainer, and the main skepticism that we get back from people is that this is just too good to be true, and they don't believe it. And then when we show the numbers and talk about the testimonials, and 97% of our friends and family refer us to their friends and family, they start to believe, and that's why we're growing so fast.
So people could go solar for zero down.
All the time.
Wow.
Happens every day.
And, talk about the installation process. A lot of people, myself included, we don't want a lot of folks in our house all the time and creating disruption for the family and people that we don't particularly know. Is the installation process take a week, 2 weeks? Does it take a day? How long is the installation process if I were to get Verengo Solar to put solar on my house?
So the great thing about this is, again, technology has gotten better, products have gotten better, companies have gotten better at what they do. We've installed over 8,000 homes now. We know what we're doing. The actual install at your home, 75% of the jobs that we do are done in one day. We go out there, we show up 8 o'clock in the morning, by 3 o'clock it's on the roof, the inverter's on the wall, and our guys are going home. Now, the whole process takes longer because we got to deal with cities and utilities, and they all have to sign off and turn everything on. But the actual disruption to you and your family is minimal. It's 1 day of work, maybe two in a few cases if you're getting a bigger system. But it's very minimal. Got it.
When we hear about all the in the news, China is always a headline in the news if their economy is going up or down and stuff like that. And they said, in the media, if you were to believe the media, they say, well, China's production of solar panels has hurt our American job market. What do you see? You're right in the middle. This is your industry and your business, and you're one of the leaders of this whole industry. How has really China affected solar in this country, and where is that going in that interrelationship?
Sure. So that's a tricky issue. That's been really tough in our industry and been very divisive, actually. But the reality is, what has happened is the Chinese have brought the cost down of solar panels for everyone. So now the Koreans, the Japanese, the Europeans, even the American companies are selling solar for less. They've forced everyone to innovate. They've forced the cost curves down. And the reality is the majority of jobs in solar are not on the manufacturing side. They are in companies like ours. We have nearly 1,000 American jobs. We don't have a single job overseas. We have nearly 1,000 American jobs that have all been created the last couple of years as a result of the growth of this industry here. And the growth of this industry has happened a lot because of those costs coming down. So the U.S. government has put some tariffs in on the Chinese panels. The playing field is level now. The Europeans are putting some tariffs on the Chinese as well. And right now, really what we're trying to focus on is just continuing to grow the business here and create these great jobs that we have. I mean, we have construction jobs, jobs that disappeared, virtually just wiped off the map 5 years ago, electrician jobs, roofer jobs, all kinds of blue-collar jobs. We've created hundreds of those jobs as a result of the growth of the industry, which ultimately is what it should be about, and that's what we think is a great thing.
Your mission statement is do good, do well. You said it at the top of the show. Every day you get to live that. Can you explain, your company's values? So when people engage your company and they go to your great website, VerengoSolar.com, or they call the number 1-800-856-6900, why should they be supporting a great company like yours in terms of your mission statement, do good, do well, and why are your values aligned with what America really wants to support?
Again, a great question, John. As I mentioned before, 97% of our customers would refer us to friends and family, and that's what we really like to hang our hat on. We're ultimately in the home improvement industry, and our industry doesn't always have the best reputation for trust and for doing what we say we're going to do. And it's really important to us to do that. If we say we're going to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're there at 8 o'clock in the morning. If we say we're going to call you back tomorrow and give you an answer on something, we're going to call you back tomorrow and give you an answer on something. And so as we built the company, it just became clear to us that that trust was really the foundation of everything that we needed to do. And so our values are all around trust, and the do good and do well is part of that. That's responsibility for us. And when we looked at the industry here, as we were starting out, you had a lot of people that were interested in either half of that equation. Right. You had a lot of people who had been trying to do solar,
well put,
and were really passionate about doing good in the world, but they didn't really have the business skills to make it work.
Right.
And so you had a lot of frustrated customers as a result of that. And then you had a bunch of people that, as the business opportunity got to be good, they didn't really care about doing well, doing good. They just wanted to do well.
Yeah.
And they came in, but they didn't have their soul wasn't in it. They didn't have that passion for making the world a better place. And what our employees love about working for us, what I think our customers love when we're out there, is we try and marry the two together. We love what we do. We build trust with our customers. We deliver this great solution. We built a really successful business around it, but we are making the world a better place. We're saving our customers money. We're eliminating fossil fuels and doing the equivalent of planting trees or taking cars off the road. And, our employees, it makes such a big difference for them when they get out of bed every day and come to work. And so that's what it's about for us. We build trust with customers, and we want to do good and do well. And it's pretty simple at the end of the day, but it's simple to say, I guess. It's hard to do, and we put a lot of work into making sure that we can make it happen.
Randy, unfortunately, we're down to literally the last half minute or so. The founders of Solar City came on a couple of years ago. They recently went public. They're fabulously successful in terms of stock markets and stuff like that. What's your vision? Where you're going? Are you going public, or what's your vision for Verengo Solar?
Yeah, so I think it's premature to think about that for us. We're just really still focused. We've been profitable for a couple of years here. We want to keep building a successful business, growing our business the right way, making customers happy, and we'll look at our options as they develop. But right now, it's all about just building a successful company, and luckily we're on a great path to do that.
Well, for our listeners out there, we want you to support Randy's great company, www.verengo.com, VerengoSolar.com. You could go solar for $0 down. You just have to call 1-800-856 6900. Randy Bishop, you are a solar superstar and truly living proof that green is good.
Thanks, John.